Hello everyone, I've got another daily transmission for you today, and today it's called The Lies That Continue Hollowing Out the Middle Class. We talk about the hollowing out of the middle class as if it just happened, as if it was an accident of the market, as if no one taught us how to dismantle the middle class. But the hollowing didn't begin with prices. It began with a story. There was a very specific moment in recent history when the message hardened that adulthood meant separation, that success meant leaving home, that returning home for support meant you had failed somewhere along the way. This wasn't ancient history. This was late 20th century logic. And by the time the people of my age were coming of age, it was fully alive. And the message was clear. If you graduated, you left. If you didn't leave, something was wrong. And if you came home for help, you had failed. Education stopped being about stewardship and became an exit ramp. Family stopped being an economic unit and became a liability. Support stopped being responsible and started being shameful. That cultural shift is what hollowed out the middle class, quietly, from the inside. Because when educated adults don't return, families lose continuity. When families lose continuity, businesses don't pass on. Land gets sold. Debt replaces inheritance. And people are forced to start from zero again and again and again. And that's the backdrop. So when I speak from my own experience, it's not as a confession. It's as someone who lived inside that exact story. I was in college in the late 90s. I did what you were supposed to do. I went out into the world, and then life happened. I got pregnant, and I chose to keep my child. I got married, and suddenly, the only narrative available was failure. Not because I stopped working, not because I stopped learning and going to school, but because I needed support. Coming home at that time, especially under those circumstances, wasn't framed as strategy. It was framed as shame. The only socially acceptable reason to return home then was that you had messed up. You didn't make it. You chose wrong. So even when coming home made economic sense for the entire family, even when it reduced debt, even when it allowed young families to stabilize, finish school, and raise children, it still came with the unspoken rule that you had to leave again as soon as possible. Because staying meant you hadn't redeemed yourself. That pressure followed us. We pushed out. We built careers. We entered the housing market. And then the ground shifted again. Jobs that looked stable weren't. Homes that were sold as security became risk. And still, the story didn't change. If you needed help, it was personal failure. If systems failed you, it was still somehow your fault. Now, years later, I have my own home, I run my own business, and I raised my children to be full-grown, educated adults. I work, I contribute to my community, I live close to family, I have support, I have continuity, and I've noticed something unsettling in these recent years. I've felt pressure to feel ashamed of that, as if proximity cancels competency, as if support negates responsibility, as if staying close means you didn't earn your life. And the word that often gets used to enforce that shame is privilege. But that word is being misused. Because instead of asking why so many families lost land, stability, and inheritance, We shame the ones who still have some access to it. We don't interrogate the systems that stripped people of continuity. We moralize the outcomes. And that's how the hollowing continues. The truth is, returning home with education, skills, and maturity has always been one of the most responsible things an adult can do. Staying close to land you know, people you know, and community you can actually serve, that isn't failure. It's continuity. And continuity is exactly what an extractive system cannot tolerate. So if you've felt quiet shame for being rooted, for staying close, for building with family, that shame doesn't belong to you alone. It belongs to a story that needed you to leave in order for the system to profit. And in the middle class, didn't hollow out because people stayed too close to home. It hollows out because we were trained to believe that coming home meant we had failed, even when it was the most intelligent thing that we could do, to be a support to our community and our family. I love you. I hope you have the best day ever. And I hope that the things that I share with you are just opportunities for you to see what someone else is experiencing, for you to see it because it might benefit you and help you feel better about yourself from the inside, to learn to love who you are and what you've done and the life that you've led, or because it helps you to see the perspective of the world from someone different than you. I hope you have a blessed day. I love you, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye, friends.